All right. Welcome back, my regular viewers, listeners, and watchers. And of course, if you happen to be here for the very first time, welcome. Before I go any further, my name is Rahul George, India's premier iHypnosis life healer coach and your personal guide. And of course, for those of you who are tuning in to our podcast, the iHypnosis Life Coaching Journeys, a very special and warm welcome. This podcast, of course, has been created for you, those of you who are healers, coaches, healer coaches like me, or maybe you're at that point where you're just on the journey of healing and you haven't yet, tapped into the next mission. So, regardless of where you are at this point in your life, this pod has been created, keeping in mind that we, literally look out for, search out people who are already on this journey of coaching and healing. And our intention, of course, is to be able to share their life stories with you so that you can be inspired and you can keep going deeper and deeper and further on this journey so that you can really truly make a difference in your own life. And of course, we have a very, very special guest in our midst. I've got somebody on today who I had the privilege of meeting now at this point 3 years ago, and it'll be very interesting to hear how her journey has progressed since then. And more importantly, the intention, of course, is that you will be inspired on your journey as well. So let's put our hands together and welcome in Venecia. Venecia, it's really good to have you here. Thank you for making the time, for being on this pod, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rahul, for having me here. It's so good to connect after almost 2 to 3 years, and
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Awesome. So maybe we'll start at the top, and like a typical question when someone would, when they get to meet you, someone says, okay, so, Benicia, what do you do? Right? So,
Right. So, hello everyone. I am Venecia Creado. I'm a trauma backed life coach and an intergenerational trauma coach. And I basically help working professionals to release their emotional blocks. So, anything that is stopping them from reaching their full potential, I help them to release that and to get back their confidence, clarity, and purpose.
oh,
So, yeah, so we'll
amazing.
talk more about it as
Amazing.
we go along.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. In fact, like I said, the intention of following along with you on your journey is just the way you shared what you do today. I'm sure there would be a journey that you've been through to get here. And it'd be interesting to also hear from you as you take us back in time and, tell us how this whole thing started. It's like what we call the hero's journey. So, take us back in time and give us a sense of how all of this came together.
Sure. So, it all started, I would say, in the year 2021. Okay,
Mm,
that is the time when my personal development journey started.
mm,
So, if I have to go slightly further back in time, I would
mm,
say I was from a corporate background. Okay, I was performing well. I had won a few awards at work, and 2.5 years into corporate life, I
mm,
was externally performing well. Okay, everything looked good from the outside, but internally, somewhere I was burnt out.
mm,
And despite all of that success, somewhere I felt very emotionally overwhelmed and stuck. Okay, and that is when I realized that this is not something that I want to do for the rest of my life. So
mm,
that, in fact, brought me to teaching. This I'm talking about the year 2013. Okay, so
mm,
this is even before coaching. So I'm just sharing how I got into teaching.
mm,
That's when I realized that teaching is something which is truly my passion at that point of time.
mm,
Right. And I got into teaching. I was thoroughly enjoying myself teaching BMS students, MCOM students from, at degree college level and teaching marketing and management. And I thought, okay, I'm done. Life is sorted. I'm very happy in this space. Then, as you know, we are on this constant quest of learning and, striving for something higher.
mm,
That's when I realized after 8 years that there's something more to life.
mm,
Not eight, like I'm not going to be settled at just teaching, though I was very happy in it. And that's how my personal development journey started in 2021. Okay.
Mm,
And my first mentor, Shilpa Singh, came into my life. And I learned a lot of things. Actually, at that point of time, I was looking for so many answers.
mm,
Slowly started, revealing themselves around that time. And then I thought, if, she can do such a fantastic job at it, why don't I just try my hand at coaching? So at that point, I had no idea what I could do in the field of coaching, but I just loved the work that she used to do. I said, I was very inspired, and I said, let me see if I can do something similar, maybe. And that's how I entered the field of coaching in 2022. I think that's the time we met in
mm,
ILH,
mm,
right? And yeah, from there has been no looking back. There have been lots of ups and downs, but
mm,
yeah, the journey is still on. And so basically, I would say I literally hit rock bottom somewhere in last year, 2024. Okay, I first came into the field of career coaching, um, tried to find my niche. I took an absolutely rational head decision that, okay, since I'm already teaching degree college students, let me get into career coaching. It was totally a
mm,
head decision, though my heart said life coaching because I had come
mm.
into this field for that. But
Right.
I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, everything happens for the highest good. So no complaints, but I got into career coaching. Then again, that was totally a roller coaster ride. Some things worked, some things didn't. I managed to create a small community. But again, after a point of time, I felt this is not what I had come in for. I didn't have that sense of fulfillment and I couldn't see myself scaling up from there. Then again, I literally almost quit in, I think, September 2024 last year.
Mm,
Okay, and I don't know what happened. After 2 days, I said, Chalo, one last shot, I'll give it. If it doesn't work this time, because I had tried ads, I had tried webinars,
mm,
I tried literally everything. Things were working out, but not the way I had planned, okay, not
mm,
at a big level. And then I said, one last try, God, if you really want me to be in this field, then you help me out, or else I'm quitting. And 2 days, I literally cried my heart out. Third day, I was back. I said, I'll give it a shot. And I don't know, within the next 10 to 15 days, somebody's ad just popped up on my Insta. Though I had been following her for 2 years, I never really attended any of her webinars. Okay, I'm talking about my mentor currently, Amrita Kunal. I attended her life coaching webinar, and there I realized that, something within me like was literally that's exactly what I was looking out for.
mm,
It was literally God sent. And I said, I have nothing to lose. I will take this up. One last shot, I will give it, or else, because if I get into it, I'm still in the game. If I
mm,
quit here, I'm done, So I just gave it one last shot. And from there, now there has been no looking back. It has only been upwards from there. So that's been
mm.
my journey
Wow.
in the
Wow.
last 2 years. Yeah.
Amazing. So, I guess there are different ways in which we can go from here. But maybe we'll start with like the most recent, right?
Sure.
What was different this time? Meaning when you decided you said in November, correct?
No, this was in around October. September, I
October.
reached breaking point. October, I
Huh.
found her. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So share with us that journey between, say September, October,
Hmm.
and into the new year. Like what was different this time?
Hmm. So, like I mentioned earlier it was, I'm a very rational, very
Mm,
logical person. Okay,
mm,
that's the reason I had got into career coaching.
mm,
But this time, I was I had gotten into something where my literally my heart was, and actually my personal development journey, I would say, began much before 2021. Even in
mm,
the 12th, like in the HSC and during degree college years, I came across, I think in my TY, I came across this book called The Secret, and that's where
mm,
it all started, way back, I think in 2015 or so. And then I realized that, life coaching is something which it's me basically. Okay, it's not, I don't have to, in career coaching, somewhere I felt that I was probably being who I
mm,
was not. I was not being my true self.
mm,
I was trying to be
mm,
somebody else probably. But yeah, here my heart was totally into it. I just jumped totally into it, did whatever she
Mm.
said. Again, for all the new coaches and healers, I would like to mention that it's not like things took off instantaneously.
Mm.
Okay, three,
Mm.
4 months into the course, I did not see any results because we were still into the course.
Correct.
But as soon as it got over and I started creating awareness on social media and all of that, I started seeing a lot of traction. So from
Mm.
January onwards, Jan 2025 is when I literally began this coaching journey of fresh. Yeah, but it's been great. It's
Mm.
taken time, but now it's
Mm.
fulfilling.
So tell us that moment where it just clicked.
Yeah.
So you for 4 months you were on the journey, you were, exploring, figuring things out.
Right.
What was that feeling like when it just, when you knew it just clicked?
Okay. So mm, uh, what was absolutely missing, okay, over there when I was
Mm.
career coaching also, I literally did everything. I literally did everything. I went to, like, literally I used social media, I used management, I used, there was some, I hired people to do stuff for me, but and I literally wondered at the end of it, why didn't it work after like
Mm.
spending lakhs of rupees? Why didn't it work? Because it works for some, good
Mm.
for them, but it didn't work for me, and I couldn't understand why. Because
Mm.
I've always been the lucky one in life. Like, things have usually panned out easily for me. And I said, why? Why is this so stuck? And that's when I realized that somewhere deep down, I was not feeling safe to do that. Okay, I was not really called for it. Probably I was just trying to do it because I wanted to do it, but that emotional safety was absolutely missing. Okay, so that is something which I really loved in Amrita's webinar. That is how the journey started, because I realized that is the place, that is one area which I haven't worked on all my
Mm.
life. you know
Mm.
in personal development, like, we are working on our mindset and all of that, which I was doing.
Mm.
And I wondered why things are still not working out. I was doing my affirmations, I was doing everything possible, okay? Sit still, tells us to write our goal, everything I was doing. And I said, why is it not working out? But when I came across trauma backed life coaching,
Mm.
system safety, emotional regulation, everything changed.
Mm.
Forget about monetizing it. I literally myself could see the difference, okay, in myself. That personal transformation, which they say you need to, first go through that in order to help others. I could see that within myself. So it was a very, very fulfilling journey for me, because I could literally see the difference. And, mindset work is absolutely amazing. We are all doing it, and I'm still doing it. But the bottom line is, if you still do not feel safe in your body, if you are still carrying so many of those childhood traumas into your adulthood, which I was heavily carrying, that is the reason things didn't
Mm.
work. So the mindset was fine,
Mm.
but what about the traumas which are stored in your body? I never worked on that. In fact, I had never even heard of this term of trauma. I had absolutely no. And when I started working on somatic healing, on in trauma back life coaching, I could see a lot of difference. And I said, if this could give me results within like 3-4 months, I could see some change within me. Then
Mm.
definitely, if it can help me, it can help others. And that's how
Mm.
the journey started in Jan 2025. I did
Mm.
a couple of workshops in EFT, and then I've been consistently doing some workshops. I've had, so now basically I'm more focused on one to one, because,
Mm.
yeah, group coaching is absolutely great. But then I realized that real transformation is possible more in one to one. That's what I've been focusing on lately. But yeah, coaching is something that we all do once.
Mm. Nice, nice. So on this journey, like when you look back, what was the earliest moment when you realized, okay, this is something that you're going to be doing? Because you talked about teaching. Now,
Hmm.
again, teaching is not mainstream, right? I mean, typically, most people do not aspire to become teachers unless, it's like, I'll give you like a personal story here. It's like, I know that for my wife, like ever since she was a child, she wanted to be a teacher, right? And so somehow
With
that
that,
kind of
probably.
happened,
Yeah.
right? So in your story, like when did you have this knowing that you wanted to be a teacher? Because you talked about, I think you did, you from degree, then or degree or postgrad, and then you
Yes,
worked for a while, and
yes.
then you became a teacher,
Right, right.
correct? On your story, so on the storyline. So, uh, when did that realization happen?
So that realization happened while I was still in corporate, and I realized that this is not something that I want to do for the rest of my life. And
Uh,
I started exploring, what is it that I would truly enjoy doing for the rest of my life, because I didn't want this concept of retirement and all. I truly wanted to do something for the joy of it.
mm,
Luckily, my parents were not totally dependent on me, so I had the liberty to take up something that
mm,
truly gave me joy. And I said, why not? Because I would see so many of my colleagues working in my team, in other teams. They were working since 8 years, 10 years, but they were so burnt out. And I said, I don't want to be them, after a
mm,
few years. And I faced a lot of backlash from family, from the managers over there, okay, from the
mm,
highest level. So I had to literally explain. They literally made me feel like a fool for quitting a good job and going into teaching.
mm,
They were like, you'll be teaching the same subjects for, n number of years. Why would you do that? Then they even offered me uh, training. They said, if you're
mm,
interested in teaching, why don't you get into the training,
mm,
department? And I said, no, I've made up my mind. And also, yeah, another reason I was a little inclined towards teaching is
mm,
because I've seen a few uh, people in my family who've been in this line. So, two people whom I really, really look up to are my godparents, okay, my godmother and my godfather. So, like in our Catholics, we have god,
mm,
yeah, and they have literally started their own school from scratch.
mm.
It's been 30, 40 years now, but
Wow.
yeah, and they started from scratch in their house, okay, from I think 4 or 5 students to now they have over I think 4 or 5 thousand students. So that
Wow.
journey of theirs was so inspiring for me,
Mm,
and I said, if I can even become 1% of what
mm,
they are doing, and it's noble work. It's not for the money exactly, but it's
mm,
noble work. So I kind of got attracted
mm,
to that field.
mm.
That's how it all started.
Wow. Wow. So definitely, I'm guessing role models have,
Yeah,
right place, right time, and you saw models of success. So somewhere it had imprinted in your mind that, yeah, you know what? I'd rather do this than do what
then
sort of everybody else is doing as a safety,
correct,
regardless of the burnout
correct,
that they were facing,
correct.
right?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so it's beautiful how you've shared, corporate life, then teaching, and then when you realize, okay, there's still something missing, there's got to be something more, and that kind of led you, this was, I'm guessing, somewhere around 22 when you mentioned,
Yes,
right?
yes.
21, 22.
22 years.
Okay, so maybe now we can talk a little bit more about what you do specifically,
Mm.
because my hunch is there's a lot of layers in what you teach now, especially because when you talk about trauma, these are not sort of surface level subjects. There's obviously layers and layers and layers. So walk us through, like, what is that, like, when you say, and say it again, because I'm also hearing it for the first time, when you say trauma backed
Life coaching.
life coaching. So what is that?
Yes. So, Rahul, the life coaching that we see in India today, okay, is more of a mindset based, motivation based life coaching.
Mm,
Yeah. We've all been aware of it. I mean, it's been there for quite a few years now.
mm,
But this is something which really caught my attention too, because
mm,
it was very different from what the other life coaches in India are doing. And trauma backed life coaching basically works at the nervous system level, because we
mm,
believe that trauma is not just, stored in your mind, it is stored in your body. Whatever
mm,
you experience, okay, whatever your parents have experienced, whatever your ancestors have experienced, all
mm,
of that gets passed down through the generations. Okay, now I'm also
mm,
an intergenerational trauma coach, just completed my
mm,
certification. So it's been literally come down to us through our DNA. And
mm,
it's not just mindset stuff, right? So just working on the mind doesn't really give everyone results. That's the reason we need to go very, very deep
mm,
and find out where is that trauma stored within our bodies. We are all
Mm.
having some trauma or the other. Now, the trauma could be from our childhood experiences. It could even come from our parents and
Mm.
ancestors. It could be in utero. So when you are in your mother's womb, you
Mm.
have developed some trauma because of some trauma she's gone through. So all
Mm.
of these different facets are included in trauma back life coaching and in IGT, intergenerational
Mm.
trauma. And this is something that I love working on with my clients. We go very,
Mm.
very deep, like you said, it's not surface level. And yeah, it gives amazing, amazing results.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice. So typically, what happens in a session? Like, how do you? And I'm saying this also because for people who are either considering
Correct.
doing this kind of work
Right.
or are looking for this kind of healing or this kind of inner work, like what typically happens in a session?
Okay. So I'll just walk you through what happens in the session.
Mm.
But if you don't mind, before that,
Mm-hmm.
since our theme is embody your expansion, okay, and it
Mm.
is very much related to this, I'll just throw some light on that if you don't.
Mm. Sure.
So that's what trauma back life coaching literally does. Okay, we
Mm.
embody our expansion because,
Mm.
like I mentioned, trauma lives in the body. Now the thing is, if you're
Mm.
only doing mindset work, that may or may not give everyone results.
Mm.
And if we have to create long lasting, sustainable success, then we have to work on our body. And that is called
Mm.
somatic healing. Okay, body work.
Mm.
Um, it has to be embodied. By embodied, I mean it has to become a part, like the new you, okay, the new
Mm.
version of you is not something that you're just aspiring for. It's not
Mm.
that you have to change yourself and become a new person.
Mm.
The new you is already there somewhere within you, right?
Mm.
It just has to be embodied. You have to
Mm.
like literally clean up all those layers of trauma which has gathered over the years. And
Mm.
the new you is actually already there. But once you clean up all of that trauma, you reach your next level. Okay, so
Mm.
that is what is embodiment. And if in order to embody the new you, one of the things that we do in trauma back life coaching is working on our thoughts. Because
Mm.
if you see Rahul, everything is about our thoughts and feelings. You're
Mm.
right. Whatever
Mm.
we experience in our life, whether good or bad, it's all
Mm.
related to our thoughts and our feelings. If only we
Correct.
work on these two things, life will get
Mm.
better, right? And that is what we do. So we call it
Mm.
a deliberate thought building process. By
Mm.
default, thanks to our upbringing and all the issues that we go through in the past, all our traumas, we get into this unintentional thought building, right? We are
Mm.
constantly into unintentional thoughts and we tend to imagine worst case scenarios. I mean, normal humans
Mm.
are always imagining like literally the worst case scenarios, which may never even happen. I was one of them, so I can
Mm.
smile and talk about it because I would think and we think about so many situations which
Mm.
I myself know is never going to happen, but I
Mm.
was into that zone. And then I realized that, this is not serving me any good. And in trauma back life coaching, firstly, we work on deliberate thought building. How do you deliberately change your thoughts, which will in turn change your feelings and eventually your results?
Mm.
We work on that. Then we also work on somatic healing, so body work. Somatic healing basically refers to basically we try to find out the somatic source of our traumas.
Mm.
Like I mentioned, it could be childhood triggers, it could be some old parental wounds which were passed down to us. Okay,
Mm.
it could even be intergenerational.
Mm.
So we go deep and we find out from where is that trauma coming. Because once you know the real somatic source of that trauma, then it is very easy to get over,
Mm.
right? Then it is
Mm.
very easy to heal it. So we get into that. We also do EFT is a part of my life coaching program. Okay, so my
Mm.
one life coaching program is called Next Level You, and EFT also plays a major part in it. You want me to talk a little bit about EFT, Rahul?
Sure, sure.
Okay, so you might be aware, but I'm sure some of our listeners and
Mm.
watchers may not be. So basically, it's emotional freedom technique. Okay, which involves tapping on certain meridian points of our body.
Mm.
Now, trauma is stored in the body, and there are hundreds of meridian points actually on our body. But a lot of research has been done. Okay, scientific research has been done, and they found out around 9 points, 8 to 9 points, which are the most important meridian points of our body. Okay, I'll just quickly. So one is the karate chop, the top of the head, the eyebrow point, the side of the eye, under the nose, chin, and the collarbone. So, and underarm. Now, these are points where a lot of our stuck energy lies.
Mm.
We tap on these points. We are working on our body,
Mm.
and it's like this. So while tapping, we are saying certain words, we are saying certain lines. So that way, we are also working on our subconscious mind, and at the same time, it's not just mindset work. We are also working on our body. So basically,
Mm.
it's acupuncture, acupressure.
Mm.
The principle remains the same. Just by tapping on these points where all that stuck energy, those negative emotions lie, we are able to release them.
Mm.
Right? So it's mindset plus physical tapping. So that's how it. So EFT again is a part of my life coaching module. Then comes a very very important part is nervous system regulation. This is the most beautiful part of life coaching. Now, many people, including me, are stuck in this chronic stress. Okay, I've seen a lot of people stuck in chronic stress. In fact, most of the young professionals today, even middle aged, they are stuck in this either fight, flight, freeze, or fawn
Mm.
response, right? And our job through life coaching is to bring them out of it, because only when you come out of these,
Mm.
this chronic stress, can you create sustainable success in life.
Mm.
And that will actually help you to become calm, become connected, and live as per
Mm.
your purpose. So, this is something that we focus a lot on in trauma back life coaching, because we help our clients to feel safe enough to take action.
Mm.
Because at the time they are in any of these responses, trauma responses, whether it is fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, they cannot move ahead in life. Yeah,
Mm.
even if they get momentary success, they may not be able to carry it forward.
Mm.
So, uh, nervous system regulation is the key over here. So, we work very deeply on this nervous system regulation.
Mm.
Yeah, because I realized you may have strategies in place, but strategies will not work. I first have experienced that strategies will
Mm.
not work if your body is not feeling safe enough to take action.
Mm.
Right? Like I have.
Right.
If I have to just talk about one of my clients. So she was doing everything externally, or she felt she was doing everything, but still not able to crack interviews. Still, in fact, sometimes she would even second guess while applying for an interview, because the thought would be, what if I'm not able to answer correctly? And she
Mm.
self sabotage. Literally, she was in the flight mode, escaping. Though there were calls coming, flight mode, escaping. And that didn't allow her to move. But the minute we worked on her flight response, the minute we worked on her safety, this is something that I've also learned from Louise Hay from her book.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, so that has played a major role in my coaching journey too. So our body needs to feel safe. Unless and until our body feels safe, we will not be able to take action. And without action, there can be no results. So this is mainly what we cover.
Nice. Awesome. So, coming back to what you were saying, so you talked about EFT being part of the program.
Right.
So typically when someone comes to you, how does that work? Like, do you meet them on a session to session basis, or, do you have a program? Like, how does it work currently?
Right. So I do not do on a session to session basis, simply
Mm.
because life coaching, trauma back life coaching is so vast and so deep that
Mm.
you cannot give people results with just one offhand
Mm.
session, right?
Mm.
So I take them on a 3 month journey. So it's 10 to 12 deep life coaching
Mm.
sessions every single week. So
Mm.
it's a 3 month journey that we go on.
Mm.
And over there, like we've got well designed, 10 to 12 sessions where every week we are working on certain emotions.
Mm.
So, like the first week, we start with the law of attraction schedule, okay, the mindset work basically.
Mm.
Then we move into deliberate thought building. Then we move into safety, nervous system safety, EFT, the regulation.
Mm.
Also, yeah, we work on taking an individual, okay, taking our client from the sympathetic nervous system state, that is the fight and flight response,
Mm.
to a parasympathetic state where he
Mm.
feels safe to take action, right?
Mm.
That's the rest and digest state.
Right.
Right. Because once that happens, okay, within the 10
Mm.
to 12 weeks, then
Mm.
results come on their own.
Mm.
Because then once the individual is emotionally regulated, from dysregulation, we take the person to emotionally
Mm.
regulated human. And
Mm.
once that transition happens slowly within those 12 weeks,
Mm.
results start to show. Then
Nice.
it kind of becomes effortless.
Mm. Beautiful. So I have a very important question, which I'm sure people who are on the journey, they will, somewhere they will have this question in their mind, right? What you're doing today, one may call a different niche or a niche. One may call a different funnel, right? So what you're doing, let's say this year in 2025
Yeah.
versus say what you did till last year,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
Walk us through that. What is that like to make that shift? Because for a lot of people, it's very hard to come to terms with you put your heart and soul into something. You thought you had, found it, and then it's like okay, and then it starts to build up. So we all have our own journeys. As you know, I say this also from personal experience. But I'd love to hear your story. Like, how did that shift happen, and what was that like to go from okay, 2022 till 2024, and then now in 2025, you've like literally revitalized and you're in a different zone. So what and very different niches. They're not even almost they're not even in the same. They maybe adjacent, but not
Right.
definitely not in the same
Yes.
ballpark,
Yes.
right?
So, yeah, so it was a big shift for me too. Okay, it was a very, very big shift. That's why I said in the first 3 months, though our mentor was, telling us you should start creating awareness from week 2, week 3 of the life coaching journey, it never really happened till
Mm,
I completed my 3 months of training,
mm,
because the shift was so big, and then you start wondering, what will other people think? Like,
mm.
I've been talking all this while about LinkedIn and career and resumes and interviews, and I'm suddenly gone
Correct.
to something totally different. So, yeah, I did think about all of these things like any normal human would.
Mm,
But like I said, the life coaching journey is so beautiful, and it really, regulates you at a very
mm,
deep level. And
mm.
after a certain point, I felt, it's immaterial. And like our,
Right.
yeah, as long as you're serving, as long as you're giving back to your people, to your community,
Mm,
uh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what
mm,
you're doing as long as you're adding value. Because my intention, even over there, was very pure to help people. Over here, again, the intention is the same.
mm,
And I think people sense that, as long as, so I didn't even make a new Insta page or anything. I didn't bother to do
mm,
that. They'll understand. I mean, we
mm.
are all on this journey of discovering ourselves, our
Correct.
careers, and it's all part
Yeah.
of the journey. And like
Mm,
Siddharth says, never marry your niche. You know,
mm,
I never dreamed that, because I took so long to decide on this career niche, right?
mm,
I was confused between 2 3 things, and I said no,
mm,
career would be the perfect thing for me.
mm,
Rational decision.
mm,
He used to always say never marry your niche, which I never really understood. I used to wonder, how do people change every 2 3 years?
mm,
And as fate had it, I was doing the same thing after 2 years. But
mm.
yeah, it's not been a very difficult transition.
Right.
Yeah, it was smooth.
Mm. Nice. Okay, so maybe now is a good time to explore this very important segment, which is what we call the journey of mentors, right?
Hmm.
So walk us through, who are some of these, like you talked about your godparents as well. Like who are some of these people on your journey? And it needn't be just only these last couple of years, because if you look back, it's your entire history that has shaped you into, who you are today, right? And who you will be becoming in time. So if you were to look back at your journey and say, yeah, like these are the people who came in, who are my mentors. They came in and, where were you at that point, and how did it shape your journey?
So my earliest role models would be like my godparents. I already mentioned.
Mm,
Um, that's where the love for teaching, or the, I wouldn't
mm,
even say love at that point. It was not love. It was just me exploring. But
mm.
just the fact that they were enjoying their journey so much and impacting so many lives.
What were their names?
Their names are Jean Gomes and Moses Gomes. So they
Amazing.
have a
Yeah.
school in Mumbai,
Okay.
and yeah, so
Awesome.
a school and a junior college. So just watching them, the way they started from scratch, built an empire, and impacted so many lives. So they were always my role models, okay?
Mm.
And so that was the starting point. And then, of course, after that, there were many mentors who came. If I have to go back in time, 2021 is when this entire, I think it was, yeah, it was COVID, post like
Mm.
COVID time. And
Second wave.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the online coaching world was
Mm.
booming. And
Mm.
somehow one day, okay, at that point of time, like I think I said earlier, I was looking for a lot of answers. My personal
Mm.
life wasn't going that great. I was not able to set boundaries. I was literally so broken. Okay, not, I mean, because of what others, not being able to, what do you say, others not matching my
Mm.
expectations. And so many things going on in the mind. And I had so many questions, why are things this way? And when will things get better? Not able to draw boundaries, not able to live a peaceful life. And so somewhere, I don't know, the ad popped up on
Mm.
Facebook, and I found Shilpa Singh, who was talking about meditation and
Mm.
clarity, Brahma Muhurat. Okay, that was the time the concept became very popular, and I found it very interesting because I'd never even heard this word before. So I said, let me explore this. So I started waking up at 5 o'clock, attending her sessions. So that's how the journey began with Shilpa Singh in 2021.
Mm.
2022, after Shilpa, I somehow got to know Kartika Nair, right?
Mm.
So I was just inquisitive to understand, who could Shilpa have learned all of this from?
Right.
So inspired by whatever she was teaching, and that's how I saw one interview of Shilpa with Kartika Nair, and I found it very. I found Kartika very, very genuine, and
Mm.
I really wanted to learn. So I did a small, nothing major, but a couple of small courses from her.
Mm.
Then after that, I saw, as luck would have it, I saw one of her interviews with Siddharth, where she won
Right.
some award or something.
Mm.
And I realized, oh, okay, so Kartika is also learning from Siddharth. Let me
Mm.
see who this guy is. And I went exploring. Okay, that time
Wow.
we were all a little free during COVID time. I
Mm.
could see who Siddharth Rajshekar. And that's when I, started reading up about him,
Mm.
watching his webinars back to back on
Mm.
Facebook. Like every single day, I used to watch something or the other.
Mm.
And yeah, after that, yeah, so that's when I entered ILH in 2022. After that, the journey was a bit topsy turvy,
Mm.
but I think it required me to reach that rock bottom stage, or
Mm.
else I wouldn't have met these mentors. So I
Yeah.
really believe that somehow each mentor has come in at the right time.
Mm.
you know it's literally like so beautifully designed. Everybody has come in at the right time, and I've learned so much from everyone, right from
Mm.
Shiva and Kartika. I learned a lot about manifestation, personal development and mindset. From Siddharth, all about building your community and
Mm.
funnels and all of that, website and everything. Then after Siddharth, I came across through him I got to know Mitesh Khatri, and also I've done
Mm.
NLP from Mitesh Khatri.
Mm.
Everyone has added something or the other on my
Mm.
life. Okay, Pooja Puneet. So did a few sessions with them, a few programs with them, and after that came Amrita Kunal. The time when I was literally at rock bottom, this thing that was missing, which I didn't know at that point was
Mm.
missing, but it was emotional safety, it was nervous system safety. That is something which I found with Amrita. And yeah, so it's been a beautiful journey.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
lately, through life coaching is one of the things that I am doing. And another big program that I have recently launched is intergenerational trauma.
Mm.
So that is like the most recent course that I have program that I've completed with Amrita. So
Mm.
yes, it's been a long journey, but a fruitful one.
Awesome. So you also mentioned something, Venetia, about doing ads and doing the whole digital marketing thing,
Mhm.
right? Now, especially for people who are healers and coaches as well, but primarily when we talk about healers, there is this sort of conception or misconception that, marketing and healing, they don't really sort of go hand in hand, meaning that, people have, especially healers, so they say that they're not very open to asking for money or doing marketing and things like that.
Right.
So walk us through what are some things that you have understood, what you have learned, because from what you shared also, you've already spent money, time, you've given, you've taken your ideas, you've put it out in the market, and you've got certain learnings that you've picked up on over the last 2 years, which of course now in this year you will, over the next 6 months, you will get to, see in a different light, right? Because your niche has you've sort of pivoted in that sense, but the skills that you learned,
Hmm.
I'm sure will come in handy, right?
Absolutely.
So walk us through, like, what are some of the things that you learned by actually doing digital marketing and
Hmm.
not just the content but advertising,
Right.
investing in ads. Like, what are some of the things that you have learned, which I'm sure will help people who are somewhere they're also thinking, yeah, I need to at some point do
Right.
this.
Right. So Rahul, I'll share my perspective here. To
Mm,
each his own. See, things
correct.
sometimes things work for some people, and
Mm,
the same things do not work for others. So there is no cookie cutter approach over here which we
mm,
can follow. But
mm,
I'll just share my experience.
mm,
So my experience with ads was that there were people who would come in. I invested money in ads, okay, a certain amount per month in meta ads and all of that. People would come in for the webinar. I was
mm,
able to convert a few, but then it was for, I think, 4 months I went on with the ads, but I didn't see any great results. Okay, I was
mm,
not even able to break even.
mm,
And it's okay, like, at the same time, I won't say you need to just change your niche like I did. Okay, you can still make things work out for you
mm,
if you're very sure that's the thing that
mm,
you want to do. But what happens is, if you are not good at, this is my experience, if you're not good
mm,
at closing sales one to one, then closing in a webinar becomes very difficult. This is
mm.
okay. There are people who have got huge success in webinars, good
Of
for them,
course.
but somehow things didn't work out for me the way
Mm,
they did. Because what happens in a webinar is, the people there are unknown.
mm,
They don't really know you. They may or may not even be following you on Insta or Facebook.
mm,
And for them to buy from you can become a little difficult, unless, of course, you're somebody who's already got a huge following,
mm,
been present on social media since last 2 3 years 5 years, you've got huge
mm,
following, then things are very different. But if you're new into the industry like I was,
mm,
and there was not that much of digital footprint that they could go through and take a
mm,
decision, then it becomes a little difficult. And after doing all of this life coaching and everything, I realized that unless and until you feel safe enough to close a client one to one, okay, like you and me sitting together
mm,
and discussing how I as a coach can bring about real transformation in you.
mm,
I cannot convince you, not even convince, I would say it's not even about convincing, but if the client, if the prospect is not able to buy from you at that point of time, how will an unknown person who's in a group,
mm.
how ever buy from you? So
Right.
that's when I realized that, okay, that is the reason somehow that connection did not happen.
Mm,
One to one, I feel there's this opportunity for the coach also to genuinely connect with the
mm,
person
mm,
and show what really you can help
mm,
the deep transformation is possible.
mm,
So that
mm,
way, and I feel that yeah, of course, within maybe a few months or a couple of years, I don't know how things will work out, but eventually, probably we all will be doing paid
mm,
ads, right? Once we scale
mm,
up to a certain level. But I think that's not the right approach, at least in the beginning phase.
mm,
Because that's the time you are learning about
mm,
your niche, you are understanding people, you are understanding your prospects, and they are best understood in a one-to-one call.
mm.
Yeah. In a group,
Right.
you're just selling, you're just focusing on the money, you're just focusing on sales, but there's no real
Mm,
connection. And I
mm,
think it's only when you reach a certain level, like if you're once you're consistently making a certain amount per month, that is when you can think of getting into ads.
mm.
That, according to me, is the right approach.
Nice.
Consistently make an X amount of money every
Mm,
month, and then you know that you have the bandwidth to get into ads, make
mm,
mistakes if necessary, and still do well.
mm,
Like, you may have zero sales in a particular webinar, but still you will not be worried. But if
mm,
you're doing it without any prior experience, without even trying one to one, then that sense of desperation comes in.
Mm.
And we all know desperate energy is very,
Mm.
very negative energy.
Mm.
And there's no way things can work out with desperate energy.
Nice. Beautiful. So I have one question for you now, which is it's a question within a question, which is, is there anything that you would have wished that I had asked you, which I haven't asked yet?
I think we've covered most of the things, but
Hmm.
um, if I have to talk about something that I've recently become passionate about, I think it is intergenerational trauma. We haven't
Ah,
really gone too much into
yeah.
this.
So tell us more about
Yeah,
that.
just a few lines, and
We have time, so
yeah,
that's why I'm asking
oh,
because every pod is different, and
hmm,
I know I've also keep track of time, so I know that this pod has been very different than most, but then there's always a reason behind it. So we have ample time. So tell
right,
us more about intergenerational trauma
yeah,
and the healing that you're doing.
yes, I would love to. So, basically, the concept is that all the traumas that we experience, we've heard of inner child healing. So, our inner child
Mm,
traumas that are there, which we tap into through life coaching.
mm,
But then, if we want to go like a step further, a step deeper,
mm,
then we have the concept of intergenerational trauma, where we dig into what happened into our parents' lives and even beyond. So our
mm,
ancestors, our the generations before them, they have all gone through certain trauma. Like for example, if we have somebody who's gone through the partition time, okay, the
mm,
India Pakistan partition, um, they will 100% have gone through a lot of traumas, displacement,
mm,
and just having to leave home, not having a home. So all of those things, we think that story ended way back in the,
mm,
but the truth is that all of that agony that they went through lived in their bodies and is being carried forward to all their future generations.
mm,
So until and unless there comes a person who chooses to break that cycle, it will continue.
mm,
And sometimes we don't even realize, but sometimes our money issues, like, like I personally got into IGT because I felt that somehow nobody from our family has been able to break that, what do I call it? Break that glass ceiling when it comes to money.
mm,
You know,
mm,
we are all doing decently well, but
mm,
no huge results, from my
mm,
immediate family member.
mm.
And I was looking out for these answers. Why are things? We are also working hard. We are doing everything, but
Mm,
why are things not the way they should be?
mm,
And I entered IGT with only this intention and a few other questions that I had. But the
mm,
kind of breakthroughs that you get after going into these past generations is just mind blowing around. So
mm,
there are so many things. I will not get very deep into it, but I realized why it is that I was not able to move beyond a certain level in life.
mm,
So I realized who are the people I had identified with, who are the people I had merged with. So there are so many concepts in IGT. Time would be short if I have to talk about
mm,
it. But after doing all of that work, I realized that, oh my God, we are sitting on so much. I mean, there's so much
mm,
knowledge available. And I think that is why, some people mention that do not go from one mentor to the other. But I somehow don't agree with that because
mm.
I think every mentor has something to offer.
Correct. True.
What I could have learned from X, I wouldn't have learned from Y.
Correct. Very true.
So, IGP has been a total eye opener, a big breakthrough for me
Mm,
because I got a lot of answers uh, in IGP. Yes. So if
nice.
anybody is
Nice.
looking at exploring this side of it apart from life coaching, maybe, okay, so I think I didn't mention. So whether it is relationship issues, okay, like if you see
Mm,
some families will have persistent relationship issues, okay,
mm,
divorces, then what else? So so things like abortions, miscarriages, divorces, these are very common in certain families, okay, and it's been happening through generations. Then
mm,
money issues, also physical ailments, even things like ADHD, okay, or your autoimmune disorders, even these can
mm,
be passed on, okay, whether we like to hear it or not. So a lot of these things we uncover in IGT. So that's the
mm,
reason it's such a beautiful and such a deep program that we
mm,
literally go to the root of where this could have come from. Okay, we
Mm.
identify the source, and then we've got the healings to.
Mm. Wow.
So
So
yeah.
are these like process based, um, like how do you do it? Is it like process based techniques, or typically how what happens in a session?
So basically, it's all therapy work. Okay, this is not
Mm.
it's not energy work. Okay, it's nothing to do
Mm.
with energy work. It is purely therapy. So an intergenerational trauma therapist will sit with you, understand you, create a traumagram. Have you heard of that? A traumagram is like a physical representation where we go into each level of your ancestral lineage. Okay, right from parents, grandparents, both sides of the parents' families, etc., etc., and we create a visual representation of your entire family. Then we trace. So we take a particular problem statement. What you can work on multiples, but we go one at a time. So if we
Mm.
talk about money, then we go deep into where those money issues have come from. Okay, so we map out everything on this visual like a map, and we find out the source of it, and then we have therapies, we have healing sessions on it.
Mm.
And then there's also another beautiful part of IGT therapy, that is constellations. Constellations are where a few people would literally represent the work that was the what happened in those days. Okay, so if you realize that there are five people who could have impacted your money mindset, for example, you literally recreate that entire scene with those five people. Okay, these are dummy people, but the energy that comes into it is so beautiful that literally every person, okay, each of those five people will speak out as if it was your great grandfather or your father. So it's just because, see, we are all connected energetically. Okay, even the universe wants you to heal, wants you to heal your entire family lineage, right? The entire ancestral
Mm.
lineage. So people who did not get their dues at that point of time, okay, their energy, we are all connected, we are all one at soul level. So
Mm.
things just connect so beautifully, and constellation, traumagram, all of these work to ultimately give you a lot of breaks.
Mm.
It's deep, deep stuff, but
So I can
absolutely.
tell that you are very tapped into it, and this is something that has really caught your attention, and you're going deeper and deeper into learning it and applying it, and teaching it to other people.
Right, right.
So wish you all the best on this, Venetia, and may many, many, many more people benefit from the work that you're doing.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much.
So it's been an absolute pleasure listening to you, and how you've, like I said at the very beginning, that I was looking forward to hearing your story, and how, from present to past and all the way now into what you're doing. And it sounds very fascinating, and it really sounds like you are passionate about it. And
Yeah.
in this work, that really makes a lot of difference, right? When you're passionate about the work that you do, it automatically flows into the people who show up to receive that,
Yes.
right? So wish you all the best, Venetia.
Much Rahul here, and it was a pleasure talking to you after
Likewise. Oh,
three
quite a
years.
while.
Actually, yeah, it was great connecting with you, and yeah, I got an opportunity to talk about my work, something that I'm
Yes.
actually genuinely passionate about, and
Yes.
I think the world uh, needs to know, or
Exactly.
something. So there's so much
And
to.
they're ready to receive this. One of the flip sides of COVID is there's been a lot of awakening that has happened, and a lot of people are choosing to stay awake. A lot of people have gone back to sleep, but a lot of people have chosen to stay awake. And
Right,
so,
right.
the world needs more of this. That's one of the reasons, of course, why we do this pod. So, uh, wish you all the best. And of course, to those of you who've reached this point, you know that you've connected very, very deeply with Benicia, and of course, her details will be shared. Follow her uh, along her journey through this year and beyond. And I'm sure, if you're looking for that kind of help and assistance, you can definitely reach out to Benicia and experience what she is creating, and not just the programs that you've talked about now, but also in your future programs as well. So I wish you all the best. And as always, for those of you who are tuning in and have tuned in, remember to live your purpose. We'll, of course, be back with more pods. These pods have been created with you in mind so that, especially if you are a healer, if you're a coach or a healer coach like me, you're on this journey and you really want to make a difference in your life, it's really beneficial when you know that you're not the only one through the thick and thin, through your struggles, when you look at other people. And that's why that's why I wanted Venetia to come here and share her story so that you are inspired. Maybe if it's a niche that's not working for you, or maybe just something that feels like it's not there, just listening to Venetia's story is a reminder that, all is not lost, and that literally maybe you're just about to make that turn and discover something new energy, and so much more. Right? So, as always, remember to live your purpose. And Venetia, one more time, God bless, and have a really, really powerful story that unfolds to you and for you in the coming days.
Thank you, Rahul.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work. You're doing amazing. So much.
Thank you so much. So give me one quick second while I end our live stream on YouTube, and then we'll almost done. And with that, of course, folks, thank you once more. And as always, remember to live your purpose. God bless. And of course, I'll see you in the next one.